guys? This is Austin Martin here, the host of the WTF podcast. And thank you guys so much for tuning in my first episode. I just wanted to start this podcast and get the ball rolling with the idea that if you improve these 5 areas in your life, you're bound to elevate, you're bound to succeed, and you're bound to improve the relationship with yourself and others around you. Let me start by describing what WTF stands for me. What the F? What the F covers the 5 main F's that I'll be going through every episode. It's going to be about fitness, finances, family and friends, and your frequency. My motivation for this podcast, I'm not an expert and I'm not a professional at any of these topics. I thoroughly enjoyed discussing these topics and talking about them at a higher level, at a deeper level. What I do know is first is the fitness. If you could get your physical body fit, your mental body fit, your emotional body fit, it will improve 100% every other aspect around your life. And I know this from personal experience. I'm going to keep this episode very superficial because I just wanted it to be an introductory episode. But I know that when I was unfit, I hated looking in the mirror. I was a lazy fuck. I didn't want to go outside and interact with other people. I wasn't taking on studio sessions because the night before I would binge eat and not want to look at anybody in the face. So what I know from personal experience is that if you are fit, mentally, physically, and emotionally, it'll improve all other areas of your life. And to be fit, you have to get in touch with your inner unconscious. You have to know that you have these talks with yourself throughout the day. And most of us, we self-demoralize ourselves and we treat ourselves like shit. So you have to improve the relationship with yourself before you could improve any relationship elsewhere in your life. Now, there are a ton of different approaches to fitness. The one that you could resonate with the most and be the most sustainable at will be the one that'll work for you. For example, I find that strength training and going to the gym is something I enjoy doing. I like the people I see at the gym. I like communicating with other people in the same community and uplifting each other. So going to the gym and strength training is what I'm most consistent at. Therefore, it's what's going to be working best for me. Okay, most people, like to do cardio. If that's their favorite form of exercise, then they should be doing that the most because it's going to be the most sustainable and most enjoyable for them. But what I do know is that at a certain point, if you're doing too much cardio and under eating, then your body will adapt. And our bodies are so good at adapting. Like, there's going to be no headroom for you to continue cutting calories, and you're going to have to up the amount of cardio you do just to see more progress. So from my personal experience, yeah, you could do cardio built in as a supplement on top of strength training. So if you want to lose weight, you should look at your diet. You shouldn't do cardio, tons of cardio to do it. You should look at cardio as a stamina-based, endurance type workout. And strength training will give you the building blocks to build muscle, which will ultimately, increase your metabolism, because more muscle means you have a faster metabolism. 2, on terms of, being in touch with your unconscious self, this is all about your own frequency. When you're in touch with your unconscious self, you have the ability to elevate yourself and elevate your own frequency. What I mean by this is if you are happy with yourself, you know what you want in your life, you have a meaningful mission, you will exert that energy, and that energy gets put off to other people. Say, for example, you have a shitty night's sleep. You don't even realize, but in your head, you're having these talks like, oh, I feel like shit. I fucking hate my life. My job sucks. I don't want to go to the gym today. All these talks are happening internally in your head. And the way you feel and are communicating with yourself gets put on to other people. People could feel that energy. So stop putting out bad energy just because you are putting this energy inside yourself, and you're just treating yourself like shit internally. Be kind to yourself. Even if you had a bad night's sleep, a bad day, say, hey, there's other things I could be grateful for. Let me get in touch with my inner unconscious. Let me breathe and realize all the things I have to do to be grateful for. What I have realized is through reading a couple books, the Creative Tools by Phil Stutz, he calls this Part X, and Part X is anything that stops you from reaching your highest potential. Also, Emotional Focus Therapy for Dummies. This was a great book because it taught me about my felt sense. When I'm upset, I feel there's a feeling that you have in your body, maybe an increased heart rate, maybe your fist starts to tighten up, maybe your chest starts pounding, and maybe your head wants to like explode. When you have these awarenesses and you're able to feel your body act up, then you could identify, hey, before I get hijacked and I react, let me process these feelings and not be reactive. This is the difference between primary emotion and secondary emotion. The primary emotion is what you actually are feeling deep down. It's more thorough. Most people are just reacting out of their secondary emotions. This is anger, being happy. Like, these are secondary emotions, and a great tool for this is to pull up the emotional wheel on Google to process what emotions you're going through, to really elaborate how you're feeling. Maybe you're talking with your partner, your family, your friends. I've tried this with a couple of my family members, and I have been, I'm going to be 100% honest on this podcast. And this is the whole purpose of it, to be authentically me. Not every relationship in my family is a positive one. So I have tried this with a couple of my family members, and they've mocked me. They made fun of me. They just, said, oh, your therapy bullshit. But let them do that. Anything they have, a feeling towards me is a projection of themselves. They're living in a dream. If you've read the 4 Agreements, you know this. Don't take anything personally. So I'm not going to take shit personally in this instance. Another thing that I want to be covering in this podcast is your finances. Oh God, where do I start? When I was young and in college, I'm still young, I'm 28 years old, but when I was younger and out of college, I had the luxury of, getting my college paid for gratefully by my parents. Thank God I don't have any loans or debt. But I do know that right when I got out of college, I was running my own studio recording business out of my house. So I was paying the rent to live there, but I was also able to stack my money. And what I did with my money was save. I opened a Roth IRA. I automatically deposited money on the 3rd of every month to where I wouldn't even see the money leaving my checking account. So you got to invest, you got to aggressively pay off your debt, and you got to be smart with your money. A percentage of your money every month. Say you make, say your fixed costs are around $50,000 a year. This means rent, utilities, bills, whatever. Your fixed costs are $50,000 a year. That means your fixed cost should be 50% of your salary. That means you need to be making $100,000 a year if your fixed costs are 50%. And you could distribute the other 50% to different areas. But what I've learned through Ramit Sethi, the book I Will Teach You to Be Rich, by the way, is a very amazing book. I highly suggest you all read that book, no matter what age you are. The other 50%, 20%, what I like doing is taking a higher percentage, putting that towards savings. The other 20% goes to investments. And then you have 10 other percent. This could be guilt-free spending. Maybe you like buying shoes. Maybe you like going out to dinners. Maybe you like going to festivals, Coachella. You save this money for those occasions. Now, you need to make money, and you need to go get a job if you don't have a fucking job. And if you don't have a job, find a hobby, find a passion, and go pursue that passion aggressively until you get what you want out of that passion and that drive. So if you don't have a job and you don't have a passion, get up off your ass and go do something with your life, because nothing will feel more accomplishing than getting after what you want and succeeding in that. Now, as I touched about earlier, family and friends, family is so important. It recenters you. They appreciate you. They support you. And there's nothing like having a supportive family. And for those family members, some of you may say, hey, I don't have a family that supports me. My parents don't like what I do. Well, then you're going to have to edit your relationship with your family. And this means that, don't ever not talk to them again. You just have to take what they say with a grain of salt and not take things personally. So, for example, me and my sister are not on the best of terms right now. I love my sister dearly, but when alcohol is involved and, situations arise, she gets heated. She knows how to get under my skin, and I know how to get under her skin. It's a transfer of energy. I say some things I regret, and I'm ultimately sorry, and I shouldn't say those things. But at the end of the day, when alcohol is mixed in the situation, me and her just butt heads. We don't blend well. So that is an example of a relationship I have to edit. Now, it doesn't mean I don't ever have to talk to her or see her again, but I just know what I've learned when she is drinking, I distance myself a little bit. I don't get too deep into conversations about myself or what she's doing. I keep it very superficial. If we're out together, I make sure that I have my own way home. And this is just a very minimal explanation of how you could edit a relationship in your family. Now, friends. I have a lot of friends. I have a few close friends, but I have a lot of friends and acquaintances. And they say, show me your 5 closest friends, I'll show you what your future looks like. And this is so accurate, because you're constantly influenced around the people that you surround yourself with. I love all my friends dearly, but I would be living in a house with 12 people when I was 24 years old. I was living in a house with 5 people. Rarely did anyone have jobs. Rarely did anyone save money. And, people are going out drinking, and I was influenced to do the same thing. I was doing a bunch of shit that I shouldn't have been doing, but I was still focused on music, on my career, on what I love to do. But if I was surrounded by people who were doing the same things, I would have had that drive to go get after it in a much more aggressive way, in a passionate way. Now, I surround myself with people who are like-minded at this time and moment. For example, a few friends that are fitness oriented, that like working out, that like going outdoors, that love making music, people that have good relationships with money. I often find myself hanging out with older people because I like to hear their experiences and their stories and, get motivation from them about how to continue building my brand and, being an authority. So really surround yourself with positive people. If you're jealous of anyone, if, people are jealous of you, cut that shit out, focus on yourself, and don't give a damn what anybody thinks about you, because once you let go of that, then there's no expectation on yourself to deliver. And you could just enjoy everything you do. So yeah, basically What the F is going to be a podcast about family, friends, fitness, finances, and elevating your frequency. So I appreciate you all coming to this episode, tuning in. If you haven't, hit that subscribe button, hit the like button, share with your family and friends, and stay tuned, because we're going to be covering a lot of more topics about this, and we're going to have some interesting guests on here to share their own experiences. So I'm out. Austin Martin. Thank you guys a ton. Peace.